The danger of interactive meditation techniques. Poke around Google and you might hear the new buzzword, interactive meditation. Oh, that sounds really interesting, doesn't it? Poke around the appropriate websites and you'll learn it is nothing more than a repackaging of the 1970s biofeedback training. What's that? Biofeedback training was the reductionist idea that we can reduce human experience to certain variables, heart rate, breathing depth, breathing rate, and the like. And that by controlling that, we could control our experience. Now, that fits right into the power fantasy of a 12-year-old boy, which is great if you're a 12-year-old boy. But if you're a fully grown adult, it's not going to benefit you. Guys, we are already really good at indulging our controlling tendencies. We don't need to spend extra time and effort getting even better at that. But what's wrong with our controlling tendencies, you could understandably ask. Whether you are reading the 81 poems of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, or you are studying ancient Buddhism and learning of the Buddha and his wicked cousin Devadatta, and spirituality is often taught in terms of a dichotomy, yin and yang, Buddha or his cousin. Upon the path of yang, upon the path of the Buddha's cousin, we tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and even cruel. Controlling tendencies might seem useful in the short term, but never in the long term. The opposite of the path of yang, the opposite of the path of the Buddha's wicked cousin Devadatta, is the path of yin, the path of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. The path of being laid back. You might call that acquiescent. You might call that tranquil. You might call that equanimity. But upon the Buddha's path, we notice what's going on and we relax. Now, this doesn't mean that we're completely passive. The more we train in noticing and relaxing, the more apt we are to flow. Not from scattered spontaneity, and not from agenda, but from centered spontaneity. This is what some people refer to as the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, the byproduct of training in mindfulness meditation, the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. In fact, if I remember correctly, back in the early 90s, you could still buy these biofeedback kits consisting of headphones and electrodes that appeared to connect to your forehead, and you could hear sounds in your ear headphones that would claim to represent the degree of tension in your forehead. And all that does is heighten your skills as a control freak. Have you known a control freak? How peaceful were they? How happy were they? How creative were they? I don't want to be a control freak. I want to be the person described by the late Dudjom Jigdral Rinpoche. Spontaneous, carefree, and at ease. How about you? I do look forward to chatting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This morning's practice is Caveman Zen, which asks the musical question, how could our prelingual Paleolithic ancestors have meditated? And the answer is probably a lot the way, probably in a manner very similar to a house cat. Before we explore that in great detail, I think it would be lovely to open this morning's practice by chanting this morning's selection of Yongjia Xuanjui's Song of Enlightenment. Please chant with me. Their Dharma body they realize does not include a thing. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha. Quick explanation. The mastery of awareness and letting go, toward which so many strive, is as non-graspable as a vast empty void. The empathy, mindfulness, and meditation latent within our central nervous systems is all that is required to master the Buddha's path. Together, let's chant. The five skandhas are but clouds floating aimless in the sky. The three poisons are mere bubbles appearing then gone. Although our forms, feelings, appraisals, drives, and awareness could seem substantial as we breathe in, as we relaxingly breathe out, they could feel as non-graspable as clouds. The same hating, craving, and clinging that could seem eternal and insurmountable as we inhale feel utterly fleeting, temporary, and evanescent as we relax into our exhalation. Open a dictionary, and most words have multiple meanings, and most likely a synonym or two. Whether we practice, whatever we call our practice, whether we call it Sati, Passaddhi, Zen, Proto-Zen, Shan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Mahasandhi, Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, or Trekcho, it's simply just mindfulness and meditation. A century before the advent of the Buddha, Lao Tzu compiled the 81 poems that would be known as the Tao Te Ching. Within it, he coined the phrase the three treasures, explaining that they were comprised of simplicity, patience, and compassion. A number of centuries later, Ancestor Wu redefined them as Jing or form, Qi or breath, Shen or mind. When we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite sitting tall. When we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the three-syllable verb relaxing. Noticing inhalation is qi or breath, as is exhalation. Telling ourselves silently and mentally reciting a phrase is shen or mind. That phrase affects our body, and reminding it to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. That would be jing or body. Similarly, during our qi exhalation, we could silently and mentally shen recite the phrase, the three-syllable verb relaxing, which influences our jing body, and consequently also our Shen mind to release. So what I invite you to do is to sit with me right now to practice this. I intend to practice this for about 16 rounds. You might only make it to 8 or 12 rounds because I breathe so much faster than you. Why am I breathing faster than you? Because I'm doing all this talking. I'm going to keep track of my 16 rounds by performing Bengali crease counting, advancing the tip of my left thumb during each inhalation. We now switch gears and convert from a 3-syllable exercise to its 1-syllable counterpart. During our chi inhalation, we could silently and mentally shen recite the word tall, reminding our jing body to generate that vertical traction between our tush and our head. During our chi exhalation, we could silently and mentally shen recite the 1-syllable verb ease, which functions as instructions to our jing body to relax and to our shen mind to release. Let's talk about emotions. As we breathe in, we might make distinctions between pleasurable emotions and painful emotions. However, as we relax into our exhalation, all emotions simply feel. During our exhalation, we find ourselves relaxing into the non-duality that simply experiences any emotion as just emotion. Welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, please do not wait till the end. Immediately type your question in the chat window. I'll check for questions approximately once every 8 minutes or so, and will be elated to answer your question for you. Those of us who have had the good fortune of living with a cat, occasionally we see it sit upright and just close its eyes and bliss out. All complex life forms with an autonomic nervous system are capable of performing this exercise. Having climbed to the contemplative cruising altitude that we have together as a team, let us like let us master meditation in the manner of General Leia Organa on Ajan Kloss under the guidance of Luke Skywalker. Wherever there are humans, there is going to be a significant number who love elitism. And when they find empowering techniques, they try to separate people from empowering techniques, sometimes using the phrase preparatory practice. You can't practice this empowering technique until you first jump through these hoops like a trained tiger at the circus. Those are people who are not interested in your spiritual development. They're interested in exploiting you. A good teacher will help you use the most effective things right away. They experience a quasi-divine impatience for your happiness and your fulfillment, not theirs. As we sit in meditation, nice and tall, it is very much we are a piling on a pier at the sea side. The tide rises, the tide falls, the piling remains present. Sometimes there's a splash of a wave, sometimes the piling encounters a wave, sometimes it encounters a trough between the waves. The piling remains for as long as it remains until it rots into the sea. Similarly, our emotions come and go. Our energetic levels come and go. Our body comes and goes. Let us seal this morning's practice by chanting from this morning's excerpt from the Song of Enlightenment. Their Dharma body they realize does not include a thing. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha. The mastery of awareness and letting go, toward which so many strive, is as non-graspable as a vast empty void. The empathy, mindfulness, and meditation latent within each of our central nervous systems is all that is required to master the Buddha's path. Together. The five skandhas are black clouds floating aimless in the sky. The three poisons are mere bubbles appearing then gone. Although our form, feelings, appraisals, drives, and awarenesses could seem substantial as we breathe in, as we relaxingly breathe out, they could feel as non-graspable as clouds. The same hating, craving, and clinging that could seem eternal and insurmountable as we inhale could feel utterly fleeting, temporary, and evanescent as we relax into our exhalation. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up and even help support this channel. In approximately 11 or so hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.